After 7 years of 80-hour weeks, I was finally getting the director position. My boss promised it to me in writing, but the morning of the announcement, she gave it to a man who'd been at the company for 3 months, her secret boyfriend. And then she made me train him. What I found in his desk drawer 3 weeks later would bring down the entire leadership team. I joined Meridian Financial Services right out of grad school, 26 years old, hungry, and ready to prove myself. The company was mid-sized, about 400 employees, specializing in corporate insurance solutions. Not glamorous, but stable, the kind of place where you could build a real career if you put in the work. And I put in the work. For 7 years, I was the first one in and the last one out. I brought in clients that added over $12 million in annual revenue. I mentored new hires who went on to become top performers. I covered for my colleagues during their emergencies, worked through holidays, and missed my own sister's wedding because of a last-minute client crisis. My boss was Patricia Vaughn, Senior Vice President of Client Relations. She'd been my mentor since day one. Sharp, ambitious, and seemingly fair. She pushed me hard, but I respected her for it. When she told me I had leadership potential, I believed her. 3 years ago, she pulled me into her corner office and closed the door. "Marcus, I'm going to be honest with you," she said, leaning back in her leather chair. "The Director of Strategic Accounts position is opening up in 18 months. Walter is retiring. I want you in that role." My heart nearly stopped. Director of Strategic Accounts was a 6-figure position with a team of 15. It was the natural next step before VP. "What do I need to do?" I asked. She slid a folder across the desk. Inside was a development plan, certifications to complete, clients to land, metrics to hit. It was ambitious, borderline impossible. "Hit every benchmark on this list," she said, "and the job is yours. I'll personally recommend you to the executive committee." I took that folder home and studied it like scripture. Over the next 18 months, I completed 2 additional certifications on my own dime. I landed the Morrison account, our biggest client acquisition in 5 years. I exceeded every single metric she'd set. Patricia noticed. She'd stop by my desk, give me a knowing smile. "You're doing great, Marcus. Stay the course." 6 months before Walter's retirement, she sent me an email that I still have saved. The subject line was promotion timeline. The body read, "Wanted to confirm you're on track. Barring anything unexpected, the director position will be announced in January. Start thinking about your transition plan." Barring anything unexpected. I should have known those words were a warning. In September, Patricia hired a new senior account manager named Derek Hollins. He came from a competitor, supposedly with stellar credentials. I was asked to help onboard him, show him our systems, introduce him to key clients. Derek was charming, I'll give him that. Perfect smile, firm handshake, always knew exactly what to say. But something felt off. He asked strange questions, not about processes or clients, but about internal politics. Who was close to Patricia? Who had influence with the executives? Who was likely to get promoted? I brushed it off. New guy trying to understand the landscape. Then I started noticing things. Derek and Patricia had a lot of closed-door meetings. Their lunch breaks overlapped suspiciously often. I'd catch them laughing at his jokes in a way that seemed too familiar. Once, I walked past the parking garage and saw them sitting in her car together, heads close, deep in conversation. I told myself it was none of my business. Maybe they'd worked together before. Maybe they were old friends. January came. The morning of the announcement, I wore my best suit. I'd barely slept the night before. My wife had made a special breakfast. "You've earned this," she told me. The entire department gathered in the main conference room. Patricia stood at the front, smiling that polished corporate smile. "As you know, Walter Patterson is retiring after 23 wonderful years. We have some big shoes to fill." She paused for effect. "After careful consideration, I'm thrilled to announce that our new Director of Strategic Accounts will be Derek Hollins." The applause filled the room. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Derek stood up, all humble gratitude and practiced surprise. "I'm honored by this opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you." I sat there frozen while my colleagues congratulated the man who'd been at the company for 4 months. After the meeting, Patricia called me into her office. "Marcus, I know this isn't what you expected," she said, not quite meeting my eyes. "But the executive committee felt Derek's external experience brought a fresh perspective we needed." "You promised me that position," I managed, "in writing." "I said barring anything unexpected. The executive committee made the final call. It was out of my hands." She shuffled some papers on her desk. "But here's the good news. Derek is going to need a strong second in command. I'd like you to help him get up to speed. Think of it as an extended interview for the next opportunity." "You want me to train my replacement?" "I want you to be a team player, Marcus. That's how you advance here." I should have quit right then, but I had a mortgage, a wife, student loans still lingering, so I swallowed my pride and did what she asked. For 3 weeks, I trained Derek. I gave him everything: client histories, negotiation strategies, relationship maps I'd built over 7 years. He soaked it all up with that perfect smile, occasionally checking his phone during my explanations. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, Derek asked me to grab some files from the storage room. When I came back, his desk drawer was half open. Inside, I spotted something that made my blood run cold: a stack of printed emails between him and Patricia. I shouldn't have looked, but I did.
I'm going to stop right here because what I read in those emails changed everything, and I need to know what you think. Subscribe if you believe I had every right to dig deeper. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have kept reading or walked away? Because what I discovered wasn't just about a promotion anymore. It was evidence of something that could destroy careers. Stay with me because this is where it gets insane.
The emails went back 8 months. 8 months before Derek was even hired. Patricia and Derek had met at a conference in Chicago. What started as drinks at a hotel bar had become something else entirely. The messages were explicit, not just romantically, but professionally. Patricia had recruited him specifically for this position. She'd created the job posting with his resume in mind. She'd already promised him the director role before I'd even completed my development plan. "Don't worry about Marcus," one of her emails read. "He's useful, but he doesn't have what it takes to lead. I'll handle him." My hands were shaking as I photographed every page with my phone. But that wasn't even the worst part. Buried in the stack was a spreadsheet, a hidden compensation agreement. Derek's actual salary was $40,000 higher than what was listed in the official HR records. Patricia was funneling the difference through a fake consulting company. Derek was kickback money laundering. I spent that entire night organizing the evidence: screenshots, photos, email timestamps. I created a detailed timeline showing exactly how Patricia had orchestrated this fraud. The next morning, I walked into HR. Our HR director was a man named Timothy Crane. He listened to my presentation with a neutral expression, taking occasional notes. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "These are serious allegations, Marcus." "They're not allegations, it's documented fraud." "I'll need to verify this information before taking any action. In the meantime, I need you to maintain confidentiality. Don't discuss this with anyone." I agreed. What choice did I have? 2 days passed, then a week. Timothy didn't return my calls. When I finally cornered him in the hallway, he muttered something about ongoing review and hurried away. On day 12, I got my answer. Patricia called me into her office. Derek was already there, sitting in the corner with his arms crossed. "Close the door, Marcus." She didn't offer me a seat. Her face was ice. "I'm extremely disappointed. After everything I've done for your career, you chose to spread malicious lies to HR. Do you have any idea how damaging these accusations could be to my reputation, to Derek's?" "They're not lies. I have proof." "You have printouts you claim came from Derek's desk. That's called theft of personal property. And those emails, Derek has confirmed they're fabricated. Someone doctored them to make us look bad." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You can verify the email headers, check the server logs. IT already reviewed your complaint. They found no evidence supporting your claims." She slid a document across her desk. "This is a formal written warning for harassment and insubordination. One more incident and we'll have grounds for termination." I was being gaslit. The entire system was protecting her. That night, I told my wife everything. She held my hand and said, "We can survive you losing this job. We can't survive you losing yourself." I started making calls. First to an employment attorney who confirmed I had potential whistleblower protections, then to someone I never thought I'd contact, Patricia's boss, the chief operating officer, Margaret Chen. Margaret was old school corporate. She'd been with Meridian for over 20 years and had a reputation for ruthless fairness. Getting a meeting with her was nearly impossible, but I sent a detailed email explaining that I had evidence of financial fraud involving a senior executive. She responded within the hour. "My office, tomorrow, 7 a.m. Bring everything." That meeting lasted 4 hours. Margaret listened without interruption as I walked her through every document, every timeline, every connection. When she finished, she picked up her phone and called the head of IT security. "I need you to pull all email records for Patricia Vaughn and Derek Hollins, going back 12 months, full archive. Do not notify anyone in their department." She looked at me. If what you're telling me is true, you've done this company a significant service. If it's not, you'll be terminated within the hour. I waited in a conference room for 3 more hours. At noon, Margaret returned. Her expression was grim. The emails are authentic, all of them. IT also found additional communications we weren't expecting. Patricia has been manipulating performance reviews for over 2 years, blocking promotions for people who didn't align with her favorites, and approving fraudulent expense reports for Derek totaling over $60,000. She sat down across from me. HR Director Timothy Crane was also involved. He buried 3 previous complaints about Patricia's behavior. Within a week, Patricia Vaughn, Derek Hollins, and Timothy Crane were all terminated. Legal got involved. There were rumors of potential criminal charges for the financial fraud, though I never learned the final outcome. Margaret called me back into her office on my 8th anniversary with the company, almost to the day. The Director of Strategic Accounts position is vacant again. I'd like to offer it to you, effective immediately. You've more than earned it. I accepted, but I negotiated something else too. A comprehensive review of our promotion processes, mandatory ethics training for all managers, and an anonymous reporting system that couldn't be buried by HR. On my first day as director, I found a card on my desk from several colleagues. Thank you for not giving up. We see you. I learned something important through all of this. Corruption doesn't survive exposure. It thrives in silence, in people who look away, in systems designed to protect power instead of truth. Fighting back isn't just about winning, it's about refusing to participate in your own betrayal. Patricia thought she could bury me. She thought I'd accept my place and stay quiet. She was wrong. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this story. If you've ever dealt with a corrupt boss, workplace favoritism, or a rigged system, I want to hear about it. Drop your experience in the comments below. Trust me, you are not alone. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. And if you have your own workplace nightmare you want featured, submit it through the link in the description. Your story could be next. Take care of yourselves out there.